everybody, Cindy the Scrapologist here. I have a question for you. Do junk journalers really need to keep every single scrap? Because look at this pile and look at this bag. Does a pile of scraps like this make you happy, or does it stress you out a little bit? And I think that's something we don't talk about very often. We save something because we think we might use it someday. And then suddenly we have a whole box or a drawer or an entire shelf or bags full of things that we might use someday. But for me, this stresses me out. So I have come up with one simple rule for myself to follow. Here it is. I only keep it if I love it. So let's talk about this honestly. Junk journalers are very good at saving things. We save the little strip left over from a beautiful page. We save the corner of a vintage image. We save the part of the paper that has just the right amount of writing on it. And sometimes we save something because we love it, but sometimes we save it because we feel guilty throwing it away. And there's a difference between those two things, isn't there? One feels joyful, the other one feels like responsibility. And I don't want my craft supplies to become another source of stress in my life. Junk journaling is supposed to be a creative, relaxing thing. It's supposed to help us bring old things back to life. So if my scrap collection is making me feel overwhelmed, then something needs to change. My rule is not that you have to throw away all of your scraps. Absolutely not. There are some pieces that I look at and immediately think, oh, I love this. Maybe it's the color or the texture. Maybe I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I know I love it. That is the kind of scrap I'm going to keep. But if I pick something up and think, well, maybe I'll use this someday, and I don't actually like it very much, but well, then I have to ask myself another question. Am I keeping this because I love it, or am I keeping it because I'm afraid I might need it? And you don't have to make the same decisions I do. This is just what is going to help me. You might keep every scrap. You might recycle most of them, or you might crush them up into handmade paper. You might have a box for pieces you're not sure about and a box for pieces you love. There isn't one correct way to be a junk journaler, but I do think it helps to notice how your supplies make you feel. The funny thing is, when I only keep the pieces that I love, I end up loving the layouts that I make, because every piece on the page has already passed a very important test. I liked it before I used it. And let me just pause here and say that if you enjoy this kind of slower, more thoughtful junk journaling, I hope you'll subscribe and become one of my scrapologists here and over on Patreon. And tell me in the comments, do you keep every scrap, or do you have a rule for deciding what stays? I would really love to know, because I think we all approach our supplies a little differently. Now I want to tell you about the journal that taught me this lesson. The journal I treasure the most is actually the worst one I've ever made. It's the first one I've ever made, too. And I don't mean that in a funny way. I mean, technically, it's not very good. The pages are crooked. The stitching is horrible and loose. Some of the elements don't go together very well. There are things I definitely do differently now, but when I look at this journal, I can see the effort that went into every page. I can see that I thought about each piece. I can see where I tried something new. I can see where something didn't work. And I remember what I was feeling when I made it. That's what makes it precious to me. It isn't precious because it's perfect. It's precious because I was fully engaged in this. I made every little decision. I chose each piece. I spent time with it. And sometimes we forget that the value of a junk journal is not only in how beautiful it looks when it's finished, the value is also in the thought and the attention we gave to it while we were making it. Look at this page. Would I make it exactly this way now? Probably not, but I still love it because I remember the effort. I remember trying to figure out what belonged here. I remember thinking, well, let me just try this. And that's why I don't want to fill my craft room with things that don't make me happy. I want the things I keep to remind me why I saved them in the first place. So if you're looking at your own pile of scraps and feeling overwhelmed, maybe don't start by asking, how can I organize all of this? Maybe start with a gentler question. Which of these do I really love? You don't have to decide about every piece today. Just choose a few. Keep the ones that make you smile, the ones that make you curious, the ones that have a story behind it, or the ones that you can already imagine using in a beautiful layout. And the rest, you're allowed to let it go. It doesn't mean it wasn't useful. It doesn't mean you wasted it. It just means it no longer needs to take up space in your creative life. And then when you make your next journal page, you may find that you love it a little more. Not because it's perfect, but because every piece on it was chosen with care. So do junk journalers really need to keep every single scrap? I don't think we do. Keep the pieces you love, use the pieces that make you happy, and let your journals hold the story of your effort, not just the appearance of perfection. That's why we do junk journaling, to bring old things back to life. We love doing that. So I hope that this helps you, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye!